Hey folks, welcome back. Working with the Navbar. We're back to doing some advanced stuff, and that is the font styles. I call it advanced because we have to get into the style sheet, and it's helpful if you know how to work within the CSS style sheet of your editor before you jump into this sort of stuff. I can give you an overview, but it's not the purpose of the demonstration to show you how to work with CSS. I just want to show you where in the style sheet to go and make these changes. So let's talk about what we're going to be changing. Let's jump into our demonstration site here. See the fonts in our navbar? The colors, the font family, the font size, the font padding, that sort of a thing I'm going to cover in this video. So if we wanted to change the font type, size, family, that sort of thing for the buttons within the top nav bar, this is where we're going to do it. So we jump right into our editor. We go to our site, styles, styles.css. Now down here about line 224 or so, we're going to start with our nav bar styles. First thing you see, font size, color type, weight, decoration, and shadow. Now this is where I said you need to have a good idea of of how to edit. For example, font size, that's just a number, 14px. If we change it to 11px, that'll make it much smaller. We'll save that, we'll refresh our demonstration, and you'll see that, oh, the font size is much smaller now. Going back to our editor, the color, that's where you need to know what hex color you want. I'm going to show you a trick though. Select the color by double clicking on it. Backspace 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Basically get the cursor nudged right up against the R in the word color. Hold the shift and the colon key, and now you can get the color picker tool. Click on the pick color tool, and then you can go through, and I like to customize mine. I'm going to go pick something really, there we go. I'm going to make my own color and click OK. Great. So if I hit save, go back, refresh, there's that nice green. Hey, that doesn't look too bad. So that's it right there. Now for the rest of it, the font family, same sort of deal. If you don't know what font to select, back, shift, colon, you can now select a family. I suggest if you're using Expression Web 4, these color packages that you see at the very top of the list, these are common font colors. If you're not using a Google font and you want to use something that's going to be visible across all computers, then I would suggest you select from these top picks right here. After you get this little line of Verdana, Geneva, everything after that, that's your system fonts. Well, most people probably won't have the same fonts that you have, so if I selected Birch Standard as a font type, the chances of everybody else having that font would be very slim to none. So the experience that they would get would be quite a bit different from the experience that I would get, because when you have fonts in a style sheet or in a website, those fonts must be installed on everybody's computer unless you're using a Google font, and the Google font is loaded in from the Google server, and therefore it will actually be rendered in the page the way you want it to for everybody. That's why we love using Google fonts. But if you're going to use a standard font, make sure that it's something that is common for everybody, and the best way to make sure that happens is to select from the top of the list here right down to where Verdana is, and everything above that is a group of fonts that are common to all computers and all devices. So for example, Franklin Gothic, if I don't have that, it's going to use Arial Narrow. If I don't have that, I'll use Arial. If not, sans serif. So if I save it, go back to my page, I refresh, right? Look at that. Didn't even change, did it? That's because I don't have Franklin Gothic installed on my computer. So it went to the next available font type, and that was Arial, because I don't have Arial Narrow installed either. Although these are very common fonts installed on most computers. Basically, anybody who's installed Microsoft Word would have these fonts installed. But I don't have any Microsoft Word installed on my computer. I have a very basic setup because I use this for demonstrations a lot of the time. Right? So for me, the next available is going to be Arial. But everybody's going to get a very similar experience doing it this way here. You can play with the font weight if you're not sure what available properties are for any of these styles. Just use the old back it right up till you get to the end of the word. Hit the shift, the colon key, and it's going to give you the shortcut menu where you can select all the available properties you can pop in there. I had normal, you could put bold, different numbers, that sort of a thing. Finally, the text shadow. This is this is where you probably need to Google this one a little bit. CSS3 text shadows if you want to understand how they work. In a nutshell, we've used, if it's 000, that means it's a black shadow. 25% transparency, which is the standard going rate for shadows. Most shadows are black, and we just determine the alpha transparency to give a little bit of a, you know, a semi-transparent effect, because a solid shadow looks pretty harsh on the eyes. So really that's it in a nutshell. You can change the hover color down here, double click, back, shift, colon, pick a new color.